In today's lecture, we will discuss frequency allocation, launching vehicles, and advantages and disadvantages of satellite communication. So, a frequency plays a very major role in satellite communication. So, let us start with our frequency allocation. Now, as we know, the frequency on which our satellite works is generally in gigahertz. So broadly we have two type of communications. If we say in a very broad category, if we divide our communication mechanism, then it is of two type. The first one is terrestrial communication, and the another one is satellite communication. In terrestrial communication, the communication is done over the earth's surface, from one place of the earth to the other place of the earth. But in satellite communication, communication is done from the earth to the space, or vice versa, from space to the earth. So there is a wide range of difference. There is a wide difference in the communication in a terrestrial communication and satellite communication. So there will be a change in frequency constraints also. While the most unique feature of a satellite communication is that the satellite communication uses a frequency which are being shared with the terrestrial communication. A particular band of frequency which is being used for terrestrial communication is also same frequency band is used with the satellite communication. So there is a chances of radio interference, or say there is a chances of frequency interference, but the sharing is done at two different places, and sharing is done between different links. So there is a less chances of interference. Then satellite signal strength is constrained to avoid interference by its other. Their satellite frequencies, as we know, the satellite frequency is mostly in gigahertz. So they are very strong to avoid interference with other frequency. The other problem is that there is requirement of large number of antennas and receivers in satellite communication. As we know, communication is a costly affair, as well as the satellite send its signal throughout its footprint area. In the footprint, since footprint area is very large, so at the earth stations we need a very sensitive the coordination and frequency and orbital rotation is important. We are using same frequency band for one satellite, and same frequency band is used for another satellite. So the orbital location is very important. There should be a different orbital location so that communication can be established without any interference. So the first thing is that when we are dealing with satellite communication, we are dealing with international standards. Sometime our satellite is above America, sometime it is above Britain, sometime it is above. If it is not a geostationary satellite, then it will be sometime it is above your Pakistan. So there is a requirement of international agreement so that when someone is using a frequency, say of 2000 gigahertz at some place, then this frequency should not be used. 2000 gigahertz frequency should not be used for the same place. It can be used for some other place on the earth station or for some other satellite rotating in different orbits. So there is a lots of rules and regulations so that common frequency can be shared between the various satellites. Then here we can see the division of different frequency bands. In satellite communication, low band frequencies are from 1 to 2 hertz, and shortwave band frequencies are from 2 to 4 hertz. Then there is a another categories from 4 to 8 gigahertz, then 8 to 12 gigahertz, and all. These are the various band of frequencies in gigahertz which is being used for satellite communication. Then now we have concluded in frequency allocation that there is a use of repeated frequency band in satellite communication. This is very uncommon thing on terrestrial communication, but it is very much common in satellite communication because we have a limited apparatus and we have a limited size of satellites. So we have a limited band of frequencies to share. Now come to satellite launch vehicles. Means these are the rocket devices, they are the rocket carriers which launch our satellite into particular orbits. So a satellite didn't have its own thrust energy or it didn't have its own power to get itself launched into the orbit. So a carrier is provided for satellite to launch it into its orbit. These carriers are Polar Satellite Launching Vehicles, GSLV Geostationary Satellite Launching Vehicles. So these are the various launching vehicles. As we know, in space flight, a launch vehicle or a carrier rocket is a rocket used to carry a payload from Earth's surface into outer space. If we are talking about payload is the load which is being carried by the launching vehicle. And mostly payload comprises of the weight of the satellite. In most of the cases, a payload in a launching vehicle is a weight of satellite. Then a launch system includes the launch vehicle, launch pad, and other infrastructures. Although the carrier rocket is payload, is often an artificial satellite placed into orbit. Some space flights, such as sounding rocket, are suborbital, while other enable spacecraft to escape Earth orbit entirely. Means when we are talking about launching vehicle, the major portion of the payload is of your satellite, but there is some other arrangement nowadays to throw out the debris and other things from the orbit uh, to avoid any type of collision, or we can say the space debris into the satellite. There is a common launching vehicle we come across, or the PSLVs and GSLVs in India. They are very reliable and very common. PSLV has been in service for various years in India, and various historic missions like Chandrayaan, etc., is done with the help of PSLV. And now coming to various specifications, say for example, our PSLVs commonly have a height of 44 meters, diameters of 2.8 meter, and it is a number stage, means it is a fourth generation PSLV, and it has a payload capacity of 320 tons. So, so we can say uh, there is a various type of our launching vehicles. And if you are talking about a capacity to carry your satellite is up to 1750 kgs. It can take up to 1750 kg of payload to sun synchronous polar orbit of 600-kilometer altitude. And due to its unmatched reliability, it has also been to launch various satellites in geosynchronous and geostationary orbits, like satellite from IRNSS. Engine is of two. In the type of engine is 2XPS4, and the fuel used in it is MMH and MON. Actually, MON is mixed oxide nitrogen, while MMH is monomethyl hydrazine. These are the modern fuel types. And the thrust, which we are talking about, thrust is the force exerted by the launching vehicle, is 76 into 10 to the power 2 kilo Newton. Now this is the another type of PSLV, which have a different rating and a different engine, and it is using a different kind of fuel, and that different kind of fuel is HTPB, that is hydroxylene terminated polybutadiene. Then now coming to advantages of satellite communication over our conventional terrestrial communication, because we have a terrestrial communication for a we are having terrestrial communication for a very long time, but now we have to come now we have switched over to satellite communication. Nowadays we have a satellite phones. Nowadays we have a DTS, direct to home, means direct to home services, which is from satellites. So there is a various advantages of satellite communication over conventional terrestrial communication, that the coverage area of a satellite greatly exceed that of a terrestrial system. Means the footprint area is very much. Area of coverage is very large. Transmission cost of a satellite is independent of the distance from the center of the coverage area. The first advantage associated is that the area covered is being large. The second advantage is there is independent of cost. The signal being transmitted is independent of distance. The cost is independent of the distance. Then satellite to satellite communication is very precise, because there is a rarer interferences in space. So these are the various advantages. Now coming to disadvantages, the major disadvantage is this is an costly affair. Launching a satellite and keep it running is a very costly affair. So it is the only thing which is limiting our satellite communication is cost. Now, the another disadvantage associated with this is that due to limited weight carrying capacity of the launching vehicles, as well as this, we can't make a very big size of satellite. We couldn't have a very large number of antennas. So satellite bandwidth is gradually becoming used up. There is a large propagation delay in satellite communication than in terrestrial communication. So the bandwidth limitations and cost is the two disadvantages in a satellite communication over terrestrial communication. This is an image of an launching vehicle. The height of this is nearly 50 meters approximately, and the width, the diameter of this rocket is nearly 3 meters, etc. 3 meters to 4 meters. So this is an only a representation of a launching vehicle. Now, when we are talking about application is satellite communication is similar in that of your terrestrial communication, that is telephony, television and radio, mobile, amateur radio, internet, and military applications. These are the same application as that of the terrestrial, but these are more efficient, more having more coverage area, and having better signal qualities. So these are taking over our terrestrial communication. This is a representation of various possibilities of your satellite communication. So in this diagram, we can see the satellite communication is taking over all terrestrial communication, whether it is a TV broadcast, radio broadcast, video conferencing, asymmetric internet through TVRO, voice chat on internet, webcams, and tollback channels, internet link, telephones, online education, etc. etc. So the satellite communication is taking over our conventional terrestrial communication because of having advantage of a very clarity in signal and large coverage area. So now we have a chart which is showing ki how does our world is progressing towards satellite communication. The first country which have launched satellite is a Soviet Union. Nowadays it is called Russia. Then it's United States of America. Then it is France, Japan, China, United Kingdom, and we are in seventh position. India is in seventh position, which have launched its first satellite Rohini in 1980. And at that time we don't call it a PSLV and GSLV. We call it a SLV, satellite launching vehicle, the vehicle which launched it. So now we have concluded that how terrestrial communication is being overtaken by satellite communication. This diagram is representing, even we have a DTH anywhere on the earth, we can run our TV very smoothly. So now other topic will be discussed later on.